How are the woofers in the Infinity Reference Standard loudspeakers powered? This question comes from Ilan in Israel. Does the BHK power the bass speakers in Music Room 1? You've mentioned that these speakers use their own amps, so could you please elaborate more regarding how exactly the BHK is connected to the speakers in Music Room 1 and what powers them? Okay, I'm back here in our little corner of Music Room 1, and over here, this is the BHK, and we have a pair of BHK mono amplifiers that power this enormous system. And the system, by the way, just for your information, is really quite efficient. The Infinity IRSV is probably around 91 dB efficient. In fact, it's efficient or sensitive enough that our little 100 watt sprout can drive these speakers to pretty high levels and sound okay. So it isn't like they require a whole bunch of power on the main wings, but plenty for the BHK 300 monoblocks to power them to all their glory. But the woofers, now the woofers are a very different story. The woofers are powered by a 1500 watt servo controlled amplifier on the back that you can kind of see over here if we can point this light down onto the spotlight. See these guys? This amplifier is a big bang. Sorry, my professional lighting thing. This amplifier is what we call a tunnel heatsink amplifier. From the top to the bottom, there's a big heat sink. That's a tunnel that goes all the way like that. And at the very top, there's a fan that draws air as quietly as possible. Although these aren't particularly that quiet. When you come into Music Room 1, if you listen carefully, you'll hear the fans of the servo woofer systems. And that draws cooling air across the fins of the heatsink. And along the heatsink are tied, must be 50 or 60 output devices that line that heatsink, and then the rest of it's all power supply. This amplifier was originally made by Greg Shug in Nipomo, and Greg is a subcontractor. He has his own brand of car audio speakers, but Greg did a lot of design work. He's an excellent engineer and designer, and he also built all of the Infinity IRS servo amplifiers, and these are beasts. I mean, these things are huge. They probably weigh 150 pounds, massive transformer inside of it. And interestingly enough, we are getting ready to replace these beautiful amplifiers on the IRSV. Our chief engineer, Bob Stadther, has built for me a separate amplifier. It's going to be a Class D ICE amplifier for every single woofer, and we're going to put separate amps per woofer on this. This is only one amp that's driving about 1 ohm. All these 12-inch woofers are all in parallel, and it's a very low impedance load. This is a very tough amplifier to build and drive, and we can get much better sound by doing a modern version using Class D, and we'll have close to 3,000 watts available to drive these beauties in a very short period of time. That's why you can see all the tools back here that we've been messing around. We're going to have to, rewire everything. So that's going to be kind of exciting. So we'll have an update to the IRS-V woofer system. That's kind of cool. So the last part of your question is, how do we drive that? Well, the IRS has, and I can show you here if I can violate all the rules of videography and move the camera over like this, and we'll see. I think that's, sorry for the Ohm's law listeners, but we're now looking over here at the crossover for the Infinity IRS-V. And this crossover, actually PS Audio built all the crossovers for the IRS betas, but these crossovers, I believe, were built by the guys over in Napomo, Greg Shug. And this crossover is it's an electronic crossover. It separates out the signals and sends it to the servo controller, and then through the IRS system, and then the BHK 300s are just running full range into the wings of the IRSV. So that's pretty much a tour de force of how this thing works. And when we add those new amplifiers that Bob Stanther designed, I will be happy to do a video and we'll show you what it looks like, try and give you a sense of what it sounds like. So it should be pretty exciting. Okay, thanks. Appreciate you watching. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.